Oh, you're wearing a Buttercup's wristband.
Represent?
I've got one of them at home.
Do you?
Yeah.
Did we sell you one?
Yeah, it's on top of my
Did you
goat.
steal it?
No.
Oh, she's stealing! She's stealing! Oh!
Right, so this week, as a grown-ass 25-year-old who lives in his own place, I've been watching the Pokemon movie.
I like how you had to mention you live in your own place.
It's important.
Ladies.
It's important. Pokemon, the first movie, groundbreaking. Prove me wrong.
I don't want to prove you wrong, because I agree with you. It was a good film.
So I watched it for the first time as an adult today, since I was a kid, and it was quite a different experience.
I thought you meant you watched it for the first time today. I was about to be like, really? This was your first time seeing it?
I had it
Casual?
on video when I was a kid. And I got the free promo card, which I've still got. That's the only reason I really wanted it. The first time I watched it, as a kid, it's a more simplistic view, obviously. It's like the big bad guys trying to kill the world and kill all the humans. But when you watch it a few years later, you realise Mewtwo is just having a really big existential crisis and dealing with it really badly.
Just a tad. He's like, I'm going to make a clone army and battle the world.
Well, you look at the first 10 minutes of the film, he's asking all the important questions. He's like a philosopher on self-discovery. He's asking, who am I? What's my purpose? Why am I here?
I can understand him wanting to ask all those questions because he was made in a lab and he has no idea what he is. He's like half human, half Pokemon.
Yeah, and basically the humans dicked him over and now he wants to kill everyone.
As humans do with most things.
As they do with most things. But this is about Mewtwo.
This is about Pokemon.
Okay, what happens?
Mewtwo wants to create his like little battle royale.
Buckle down because it's the best story ever told.
It is. Mewtwo decides, you know what, I'm going to kidnap a bunch of children and force their pets to fight me.
More or less, but there is sort of more to it than that.
There is more to it to that. That was a very simplified
So he
version.
blows up the scientist, works with Giovanni, realises Giovanni's a dick, so blows him up as well, creates his own place, and this is where he messes up. He does the classic thing that all bad guys do and tries to show off.
Lots of monologuing.
There was no need for him to invite all them kids to the fucking battle island.
Yeah, there was...
He could have blown up the world there and then.
Yeah, because he's powerful enough.
Yeah.
He's a very powerful Pokemon. And yet he's like, no, kidnapping children.
And that's where he went wrong. If he'd just gone straight to the point, it would be like Mewtwo Land now.
But it ends well.
But
with Mewtwo realising he's wrong.
Where he says, right at the end, he comes to the conclusion.
I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are.
Which is great, because that brings round the full circle. It answers all the questions he asked in the beginning. But, and this was pointed out to me today by another Pokemon nerd, that I've never noticed this before, that's a great message in everything, that all the Pokemon and the trainers learnt. Then he goes and wipes their memory, making the whole thing a bit pointless.
I'm going to teach you this important lesson.
And then make you completely forget that you've ever learnt it. And I'd never noticed that before, and I was really annoyed.
I've never noticed that before either.
Exactly.
That's so annoying, Mewtwo.
Like, Mewtwo gets his happy ending, which is the point, but...
Which is the point. Only Mewtwo can be happy. That's the moral of the story.
Mewtwo
Only
learned.
Mewtwo is allowed happiness in this film.
Ash didn't learn anything.
Ash rarely
Which
does.
shows because he keeps making the same mistakes to this day.
Ash is a 40-year-old man trapped in a 10-year-old's body. Ash isn't learning anything. Ash is just going to different regions and just kidnapping more Pokemon. Or capturing more Pokemon. I don't know. That's what
I don't
he's
think
doing.
he kidnaps them.
No, they go with him willingly, I would hope.
They do. I think that's the point of Ash, isn't it? He doesn't actually catch anything. They go with him because he's friendly.
Okay.
Be a nice person.
Be a nice person and you'll get more Pokemon, kids.
My favourite scene, which I worked out today, nearly made me cry again, is not what everyone thinks. Everyone thinks it's where the Pokemon are crying.
Because that is a heart-wrenching
That is a
scene.
very sad scene, but the actual emotional bit comes before when Pikachu's trying to electrocute Ash back to life. Because
She's trying to like defibrillate him.
It's silent and you can just hear Pikachu shouting more and more desperately. And that's the bit that almost got me today.
No, that makes me cry so much because also, like, it's like Pikachu's tears that, like, de-petrify Ash.
Magic tears.
Yeah, but...
Which are mentioned earlier in the movie, quite subtly.
It's one of Pikachu's hidden powers. They have magic tears.
Pokemon have magic tears.
Not just Pokemon in general.
Tears are magic.
Then why is there any sort of health ailments in the Pokemon universe. If Pokemon have magic tears that can heal everything, if they can heal full-on body petrification, why is there any health issues? Why is there wars in the Pokemon world?
Because it's a different kind of tear. There's angry tears.
Okay, it's a different kind of tear.
Genuinely sad love tears from Pikachu.
Okay.
And that's the bit that makes you cry. And that's the bit that everyone remembered as a kid.
Yeah, that's definitely the most heart-wrenching scene. It just kind of annoys me a little bit, just how much of a sex pest Brock is. Like, he's such a little creep.
You know what? If they brought out a character like that today in anything, then that would just get red flags straight away,
It
wouldn't
would
it?
get red flags straight away, because he's just such a pest.
He's quite a lot older than the others as well.
Yeah, he's
he
like-
looks after a whole family.
Yeah, well, I don't know how old Brock is. I'm just going to assume he's 35. That's what we're going to go with. He's 35.
I wouldn't have gone quite that old, maybe 20, but at a push.
Well, like, Ash is like 10, Misty's like a teenager, isn't she?
He's quite creepy.
Okay, something I do want to say about this film, which for some reason Matt has severe problems with, and it's the fact that this film was in large part a big advertisement for the Gen 2 Pokemon.
Oh, shit.
It was, and you know it was. I don't know why you want it, because it doesn't take away from how good the film was. The fact that, you know, that it was an advertisement for Gen 2, because it featured Pokemon like Snubbull and Marill and Donphan.
Which was cool.
Yeah,
I did enjoy that bit.
Yeah, and that was the first time those Pokemon had ever been featured. Because they didn't come out until several months later when the Gen 2 games got released. I think it was Gold and Silver. I think they were the Gen 2 games.
They were, and Crystal.
Okay, well, yeah, and they were when they released Gen 2 and everyone was like, there's those Pokemon that we saw in the films.
I resent the fact that you say the Pokemon Company could possibly do something as horrible as use their film to promote themselves. They did it out of the goodness of their heart, okay? They're good people.
There was nothing wrong with just like a subtle bit of advertisement. Like, oh yeah, we'll give our fans a sneak preview of some of the cool Pokemon we're going to introduce in the next game.
It was too subtle because it didn't work. Because I didn't notice, and I didn't get any of the Gen 2 games, which I think is the issue it's coming down to here.
Clearly.
It's not fair.
Another thing that that they sort of mention in this film, and they sort of state as fact in this film, is like, oh, Mew was like the precursor to all Pokemon. Mew is like the sort of this godly figure in the Pokemon world. And then a couple of sort of gens later, I think it was in like Gen 4, when they introduce they introduce Arceus, and they just destroy everything they've said before. Like, no, we were wrong about Mew.
Mewtwo were a lot more special back then.
Yeah.
To be fair.
And then Mew and Mewtwo, and then later on they're just like, no, Mew's a common bitch.
Mewtwo still holds his own.
Yeah, because Mewtwo's...
If you look at the stats...
But even Mewtwo isn't unique now, because remember Team Rocket made like a girl Mewtwo.
Did they?
Yeah, in the anime. I
didn't see that one.
They made a girl Mewtwo. So even Mewtwo's not like unique anymore.
No.
And then they were like, oh, Mew isn't...
And you got the Ultra Mewtwo's as well.
See?
The X and Y versions. They're pretty badass.
So, you know, they just... Pokemon slowly destroying their own canon over the course of time.
But Mew and Ditto were the same as well. And they were both around in Gen 1, so he wasn't even that special then.
Just as a side note, some of the Pokemon in the Pokemon universe, they're so creepy.
Which is the creepiest?
There's that balloon that kidnaps children. And in its
Drifblim or something.
Yeah, and in its bio, it specifically says, like, it dislikes heavy children because they're difficult to kidnap. There's a Pokemon that, like, wears its mum's dead skull as a...
Cubone.
Yeah.
That's pretty metal. I didn't
Still
know that.
creepy.
I didn't know that as a kid, though, to be fair. I missed all these details.
There's, like, so many Pokemon. There's, like, Mr. Mime. I'm pretty sure he, like, marries single mums. I think that's his thing. But it's a little bit weird. There's never any dads in like, the films or the anime.
You see Brock's dad in one episode.
Yeah, and you see, like, other people's dads, but you never see Ash's. Because you're always sort of told they're all away at this...
It's never even spoken about, isn't it?
They're all away at war. The Pokemon War. Yeah, there's like a Pokemon War.
No, there isn't.
There is, because in the game, there's a gym leader. He's like one of the first you battle. He's like Sergeant Surge or some...
Lieutenant Surge.
Yeah. Okay, he talks about how Pokemon saved him during the big Pokemon War. So, ha!
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm so serious.
I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Damn.
See?
I thought I knew everything. One more thing that I've wanted to point out to people for ages. You know when they're going through the DNA sequencer and Team Rocket is standing there saying Alakazam, whatever, Alakazam, Meowth, Pikachu, whatever they see come up, it's basically name that Pokemon. They get one wrong. They say Alakazam when it's clearly Scyther that comes up.
Alakazam!
Please tell me I'm not the only one that's noticed that.
Was Scyther even Gen 1?
Yeah. Yes, of course he was. Because Sizzle was Gen 2.
I'm sorry. There's so many Pokemon that I'm getting confused of the gens.
No, there's only 151 in Gen 1.
Oh, only.
Could you name them all?
No, probably not.
We tried once. An hour to get 149 and 2 weeks to get the last 2. And it was Mankey and Primate. That's why I failed my A-levels. Or one of the reasons.
Because you spent weeks trying to name all the Pokemon.
Maths just wasn't happening.
Obviously, the original Pokemon film was a lot more unique at the time, but there's been so many different films now that it seems a lot less special. But I suppose Detective Pikachu is coming out soon, and that will be hopefully a fun, fresh take on the Pokemon franchise. Matt, what are you doing? Wait, what just happened? Frankie, not that I don't love to see you, but what are you doing here?
Well, isn't it obvious? I evolved from Matt, like Pokemon references. Matt. Definitely not because of an audio corruption or anything like that. So I guess me and you are going to talk about Detective Pikachu quickly. What is your first thoughts on it?
I like the trailer.
Yeah.
But I keep imagining Pikachu as Deadpool, which is... I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing.
Weirdly, I mean, I know Pikachu actually spoke in, I think it was the most recent film, and his voice in that was so unsettling.
Oh, God, I really didn't like it. It was like...
It's because I always want to be with you.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
And it's really unsettling, but for some reason, a grown man who plays Deadpool works so much better.
Tell me where your fucking boss is, or you're gonna die! In 5 minutes!
I find it less unsettling.
It's weird, but it just works.
To me, the Pokemon just look kind of wet.
They look a bit damp.
They look a bit just
some
like...
of them.
They're a bit damp. Not all of them, but some of them. And they just look a bit like slimy, and it's like, why? Do they need to?
However, saying that, like, apart from the dampness, the characters do look pretty well animated, I would say.
No, they do look really, really...
They look really quite...
Definitely better than Sonic.
Oh, God.
The Jigglypuff looks so cute.
So Matt asked me to say one thing about Justice Smith, and Matt, for all you guys out there, isn't a massive film nerd. I don't know why he's on this channel, but he's here anyway. He doesn't get excited too much about actors or anything like that, like I would or you would necessarily, or directors and stuff like this. But Justice Smith is, I know that one that really excites Matt. He's been in The Get Down. He's been in, on Netflix, he's been in...
Jurassic World 2?
Fallen Kingdom. And for me, anyway, I know what Matt's talking about. He was a scene stealer in that, even though he wasn't a main
He was one
character.
of my favourite characters in that.
He stole a lot of the scenes in that film. So hopefully he'll carry on with this in this film.
One of my initial theories was maybe it's going to be similar to the original Pokemon movie, because you see Mewtwo like briefly in the trailer.
So they could nick
and people in Pokemon have been going missing according to the trailer. So I don't know, part of me was like, oh, it's like the original film. But I don't think they'll rip it off.
There could be some little callbacks at least.
Yeah, that would be good.
Could be some little callbacks. Speaking of callbacks, there is one theory floating around about this Pikachu being Ash's Pikachu. As I say, these might just be callbacks, but this Pikachu loves caffeine through drinking coffee, same as Ash's one drinking tea all the time. Obviously, this Pikachu can talk, as we said, the Pikachu before talked to Ash. And there's a few things being set in the same universe, like the Jigglypuff has the marker pen, which isn't strictly to Jigglypuff in general. It's only ever been seen in that anime where Ash and the gang keep running into him.
I feel like that will just be like a nod to the anime.
As I say, a lot of these could be little just nods in general. But, I mean, I wouldn't be mad if that's the case. It could be a little fun thing if the... Because Pikachu's looking for his owner, isn't he?
I think it would be really funny if like a character that was
Ash
turns up and is just
turns
hey,
out to be Ash. It could be fun. It could be terrible. We don't know. So I guess that's Pokemon the first movie and Pokemon Detective Pikachu. You can follow me at film_Frankie. You can follow Hannah
At Destria.
and you can follow Matt at Buttercup's Goats. And obviously follow us collectively at idiot_film for more great content. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want. Go wash your socks and be a good person and get more Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Gotta get your